This is 2nd Ezra chapter 9, beginning at verse 1. He answered me then and said, Measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of the signs past which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. Verse 3, Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. For like as all that is made in the world have a beginning and the end is manifest. I want to start off by giving all praises, all honor, and all glory to God, Loyam, by Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem, Brakathum. Double honors to the apostles and to the elders, great millstone who do rule well. Peace and salutations to the I came across the four corners of the earth, pushing this truth with faith and with sincerity, as well as risking their lives and the freedom to do so, now more so than ever. Shalom to the Akwatini, I came out there listening and learning, Lord, willingly this is edifying. Shalom to the Israelite foreigners scattered abroad in the land of other nations, which appear like the other nations, but whom subscribe to this truth. To you I say Shalom. It's really Yahweh Sop out of the GMS Cleveland Church, a fellow servant, coming at you with another lesson through the Spirit, through the power of Yahweh Shem Shai. And through the Spirit, I was listening to the elder Barak Allah out of Ancient of Days LA camp, and he made mention of this, and I wasn't aware of it. And I was listening to the brother Itazawan from the Men of Valor camp, and he went into it, and just through the Spirit, because when you're going into that MOTB, that's always something, worthwhile video, and it's just showing you how systematic this was all set up because. Again, if you have understanding of prophecy, other things have to take place before this third world's role can take place. But at the same time, they set up a system where they're, everything's digital. I often bring up the fact that when you go into the CARES Act, where they passed all that stimulus, it allowed or it basically made mention of a digital dollar, these CBDCs, central bank digital currency and whatnot, and how the federal government or the feds, the Federal Reserve printed, I think it was Glenn Beck that said like over 100 trillion or something like that during this pandemic. Now, and I wouldn't be surprised because at the end of the day, this is a perfect scapegoat to crash the dollar. And like I said, it's not coincidence that, you got places like Australia because they're being basically programmed to be a part of this new system. Those that stood up, they basically quelled any riots or uproars. They was actually shooting and sicking dogs on people out there, but I thought this video would be noteworthy and because, this is prophecy, that's what 2nd Ezra began with. It says, measure out the time diligently, and when thou seest parts of the signs past, what's the signs of these prophecies? It tells you in the book of Romans, the things written before time are written for our learning. The scriptures, when you go in the book of Revelation, it tells you that Yahushua is the spirit of prophecy. So, that being said, I'm going to bring out a little bit of this article. This shouldn't be a long video. I don't intend to make it long. It says the end of ATMs in Australia, with a question mark. Thousands of cash machines are removed across the country as banks go digital. And that's coming here. The brother also brought out information about Amazon. Basically, Amazon owns Whole Foods. And basically how they're setting up the first Amazon Go store. Well, not Amazon Go. Amazon Whole Foods / Whole Foods, where you can go in like in China and basically pay as you go. Like you don't have to actually deal with a cashier. Everything is cashless, and you just go in, grab your item, and it's automatically taken off of your taken out of your account. And that's, like I said, pretty much what China has done. I was listening to something Glenn Beck was going into about the social credit system and how it's tied to your actual credit. And just, again, a system like that put in place will have citizens in a position where, because it talks about that, it says those that try to save their life shall lose it, and those that lose their life for the gospel's sake or Yahweh Shai's sakes shall find it. So it says ATMs and bank branches across Australia are continuing to close at a rapid rate, switched by customers to digital banking scene, Big Four banks switched their focus. ANZ head of distribution Kath Bray said changes were a clear sign of the times. As Australian banks continue to focus on digital transactions for customers, ATMs and bank branches are disappearing across the country, according to new data. The analysis revealed close to 460 bank branches have shut down across the nation in recent years, and dating back to 2020, approximately 3,800 previously active ATMs have been removed. And, it's funny because we're considered conspiracy theorists, it's loony, crazy, because we say that they're putting a system in place where basically everything will be digitalized. Going to these concepts based on like what is called digital governance, where that eye in the sky, everything is surveillance, predictive policing. These are things and concepts that was mentioned in the movie Minority Report. Because for whatever reason, I know that's part of witchcraft to a degree. They have to tell you for whatever reason, but at the same time, or they tell you to. It's like I believe the elder made mention of it. It's like them trying to participate. They're trying to act like they prophesying. On the left hand side. Well, in a lot of movies, these concepts are introduced. Old movies like Logan's Run. Like, I'm a 70s baby. So I remember growing up watching movies like Logan's Run. And then you see movies like Repo Man with Jude Law and what's his name? I can't think of that guy's name. It's on the tip of my tongue too. Well, anyway, you got Jude Law and the black guy. Total Recall, these different movies with these concepts where everything, was basically futuristic. Everything was on one grid. You know what I mean? Showed you that in movie Total Recall when he tried to basically, they was tracking him through the taxi, the robotic taxi, and it had him. It was leading him to the location of the other people because they had hacked it. Now you got terms that talking about being able to actually hack human beings, and the Most High created you in a certain image. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, to let this devil, this red Hebrew Edomite, Esau Edom, this deceiver, change that. Because like I was listening to Elder Yashawamba from Dallas, he said, a lot of you Jakes took that cocktail, that fruit cocktail, right? And you fucked up by it because you got fearful of what Esau was talking about doing. And now all that is all the restrictions and, the mask mandates and all these things are being lifted to a degree. And now all the focus is on Ukraine. Like we didn't just go through 2 years of, what I mean? Oh, Omicron and, Omarion and all, what I mean? It says NSW alone now has 140 fewer in-store banks and almost 300 suburbs don't have a singular ATM withdrawal cash. It's a similar story in Victoria where 120 branches have permanently closed their doors to customers. Closures have a devastating impact on local communities, Finance Sector Union National Secretary Julia Angrisano said. And you got to take time to think about it. Why would they literally, like, what was it? Cash is king, cash rules everything around me and all that. And now everything is switching over to everything is digital. You got things like Cash App and, all this digital currency and all these, these things like Bitcoin and whatnot. I got a family member that's actually into digital currencies. You know what I mean? Actually talking about creating, buying property on the metaverse. But like I read to that family member's mother, in the book of Revelations, it said, let the just be just still, and let the filthy be filthy still, and let the righteous be righteous still. At the end of the day, these things have been told. I pulled that person to the side. Gave them the truth, gave them some videos, let them see it for themselves, and at the end of the day, the Most High, Yahweh Shem Yahshua, will deal with whom that He's dealing with, and He'll sift who He's sifting. You got to remember, 2/3 of the house of Israel shall be destroyed. It says it says another key factor for the branch closures and reduced ATMs is the fact that banks are bringing in a small fortune from daily digital transactions. As Australia accelerates towards a cashless society, fees from either the customer or vendor for online banking have become commonplace. And when you go into that, like I remember when Cash App wasn't charging, now Cash App is charging for every transaction, or they're charging a lot of people. Then you got people, they're charging, and then like I said, now like Biden and administration is taxing you. So any transactions over $600 are considered like income. So these motherfuckers just like, and what can you say to something like that when you're stuck in a system like that? Because you got to remember that's a scary thing. That's why you can't put your faith in this world or this devil. You got to put your faith in Yahweh Shem Yahshua. It says, "Cursed be the man that trusteth in man," in the book of Jeremiah chapter 17. But blessed is the man that trusteth in Yahweh Shem Yahshua. This man is creating a system that basically you will not be able to move around in unless you bend the knee to him. You know what I mean? And I'm gonna bring that out. I'm gonna end the lesson. I'm gonna end the article on that. This is the book of Revelation chapter 13. Revelation chapter 13. I'm gonna start at verse 10. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. When you go into, I think it's Psalms 148, maybe, it talks about who the saints are. The saints, it tells you, are the Israelites. You know what I mean? It ain't an old white lady or red looking lady, you know what I mean? Edomite, or these old Edomite men. They were Jakes, Israelites. It says, and I beheld another. And who led whom into captivity? When you go into most Israelites that's in this country, especially if we go into, the tribe of Judah, we know how they got over here. You could put that passage from Deuteronomy chapter 28:68, and when it brings up the pictures and images, it'll show you the slave ships that our forefathers came in on to this country. And then, it wasn't just Judah that was actually in captivity. You had Gad, you had Ephraim, Issachar was actually against slavery. That was a big thing why they did a lot of fighting. And from what I read, is one of the issues and the reasons behind the Alamo. Never knew that. You know what I mean? I used to like that movie. And come to find out, Issachar wasn't on that. And that was one of the reasons why they attacked the Alamo. It says, and I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had two horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. And when you go into that, you told that the beast is that empire, the kingdom, and it said it had two horns like a lamb. So, the horns represent power. So you got, the Democrats and the Republicans. In ancient Rome, it was the plebeians and the patricians. That's why I say everything is recycled and reincarnated, because America is, the beast with the deadly wound that was healed. They copy, and this system is based off a lot of ancient Roman system. That's why you got Roman numerals. You got these buildings that's based off of Roman architecture. When you go into the laws, it's like written in Latin. And it says he had two horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. So it appeared, peacefully. With like democracy appears peaceful, but like like the Elder Yashawamba goes into, when you go into Dracon, that comes from Greece, and Greece basically is the first society that basically came up with democracy. But when you go into Dracon, he was the politician that basically, for slight infractions, he was doing severe punishments. And he exercised all the power of the first beast before him, and caused the earth and them which dwelleth therein to worship the first beast whose deadly wound was hid. And that's the spirit, because like I said, this system, this AKA America, Babylon the Great, basically gets all these different nations to worship after, the Roman ways. And he doth great wonders, so that he make a fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of man. These great wonders is these miracles, this devil's technology, and deceiveth them that dwell dwell on the earth by means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image to the beast which had the womb by a sword and did live. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. Because basically, if you don't bow down to the system, you're going to be persecuted. And some people, some men of the Lord are going to be basically martyrs for this truth, a testimony to the faith testimony to their faith, Some men are going to escape it. Some men go, everybody has their lot. Verse 16, he calls of all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. And when you go into that digital system, again, take time to think about that. With all these ATM being removed and your access to getting actual physical cash being limited, you know what I mean? Like over there in China, you know what I mean? Like at the end of the day, why is that so far fetched? Or that system sounds like lunacy. You would say that as lunacy. Like no, that's possible. I'm gonna end it with this the penalty, because it's a penalty if you worship or take this image. This is the book of Revelation, chapter 14, verse 9. And the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast and his image and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation, and he should be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. So, at the end of the day, if you partake in, and it's mainly for Jake, you Israelites, because, basically, this is we basically made a covenant with Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua. We when we took that cutting, covenant was part of when we get circumcised, all that. When you go into the book of Exodus, which everybody that's in this truth, that has a foundation in this truth, should be reading right now, because we coming into the time of Passover. You made a covenant with the Most High Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua then, and this devil is trying to make you or have you partake and have a covenant with him, because he doesn't want you, he wants to make you a continual slave, and, and at the end of the day, it's a judgment if you take that mark, that charagma, and, at the end of the day, which is ultimately that nuclear fire. So if you're so-called Black, Hispanic, Native American, Seminole Indian, West Indian, or Haitian, I implore you to come back to the law, statutes, and commandments of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua, or you will be destroyed. If you pay attention to what's going on in the news, prophecy is speaking, and we are in, beautiful, glorious, terrifying times. So again, if you're a so-called Black, Hispanic, Native American, Seminole Indian, West Indian, or Haitian, I implore you to repent and come back to the law, statutes, and commandments of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua, or you will be destroyed. With that, I want to give all praises, all honor, and all glory to called Loyam La Yahweh, B'Hashem Yahushai, B'Hashem Rachakadosh Rakatam. Double honors to the apostles and to the elders, great millstone who do rule well. Peace and salutations to the Akim across the four corners of the earth, pushing his truth with faith and with sincerity, as well as risking their lives and their freedom to do so, now more so than ever. Shalom to the Akwat and the Akim out there listening and learning. Lord, willingly, this is edifying. Shalom to the Israelite foreigners scattered abroad in the land of other nations, appearing like the other nations, but whom subscribe to this truth. To you, I say shalom. Until next time, I'm able to come with another lesson. Shalom, shalom. Mawat lababal. Shalom.